episode number 50 coming at your ears.
Yeah, we got a milestone today.
Yeah, number 50. That's right.
A long, hard, tough battle, but we made it through.
We made it. Famous number 50s.
What do we got?
David Robinson.
Nice.
Yeah, we're in
a good one.
Good company.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Aaron Gordon.
Okay. Nice.
Let's. Those are like the big ones. I'm looking at
I didn't know you were 50.
An NBA list here.
Yeah.
But Ralph Sampson. That's old school.
Nice.
Zach Randolph. But yeah, David Robinson. That's probably like the biggest one. Ooh, the biggest bust. Greg Oden.
Greg Oden, man. He had so much potential. For real.
Yeah, but this is a really good episode. This is like one of my favorites that we've done
this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the grab bag was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The topic of today that we're going into, we're going to help out some vendors out there and maybe some couples that are traveling from afar coming to New Mexico. So that's what we're going to focus around today. Definitely some great tips in there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the music today. Way better. Don't listen to those guys last week.
Episode 49, back to the music. Awful.
Just turn it off.
Yeah,
once you get to back to the music, just turn it off. Like you go about your day.
But
this
one is so good.
This one is awesome.
We did an improved version of it, and it's just a fun way to listen to music in a new way and just kind of experience it because it's all songs you know and love, but we're going to dissect them and just kind of guess. It's fun. It's really good.
I don't know about you, but in my mind, we totally redeemed ourselves.
I think so.
I think we lost a few followers after last week, but we're going to gain followers this week.
We're going to get them back.
That's right. We got you. We're going to get you back. All right. We promise.
But very good episode. A lot of healthy, good tips in there from all different walks. And then also, too, our Back to the Music is fire. So, good episode.
Let's do it. I'm excited to hear us.
Let's go.
Let's get into it.
What's wapa? You've got your running errands, picking up wedding dresses. Wapa!
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
You're now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back, peeps, to another round of the Cutmaster Cast. This is your weekly dose of wedding industry insights. My name is Chris Romero.
And my name is Tony Pacheco. What's up, everybody?
And we are your favorite DJs out of Albuquerque, New Mexico with Cutmaster Music. This is season 2, episode number 50.
50!
We made it. We made it to 50.
It's a big milestone.
It's we talk about it, and I've had some friends that have actually gotten into the podcast realm and the industry, and it's really funny. One I'm thinking of that they just started their podcast recently, and they're out of Ohio. And I told them just get started, get started, start doing it, and get into a rhythm, schedule it in.
Yep.
And before you know it, a year later, here we are.
You look like this.
you look like. This.
You know what's cool is I was telling my cousin about it when I was out of town last week, and it was cool for us. She was like, "Show me the first one," and then we took screenshots.
Oh,
so you were able to see the first one and then where we're at now, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it looks good."
The first one is like.
It's a little sad. We're both yelling, and I think we both had a mic, actually. We did one. Episode 1 we didn't film.
No, we had this guy, right there. That's all we had, and now look at us today.
Yeah, baby.
We're upgraded, looking good.
I've got Austin Powers. I've got sad trombones. We didn't even have that in episode number 1.
We did not.
Yeah, so
soundbites, segments.
Man, I mean, if we've already got this at episode 50, imagine episode 100 what we're gonna have.
Right. We should throw a party.
I'm gonna buy.
Do it live.
I'm gonna buy a building that's just for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think we should do something big, like we do it at Sandia Event Center.
I love this. Worth putting it out there into the world.
Yeah,
we're gonna manifest this, peeps. We need you to help us out in the comments. What do we need to do for episode number 100?
I think it'd be something cool where we do it live. People come, we interact, we have fun because people do that stuff all the time.
You know who did that?
Episode 100 would be fire.
It was at a DJ collective, Joe Bunn and Mike Walter.
Yeah,
they did at the time they were doing the PhDJ podcast. They did it live with all of us there, and they had just exactly what you're saying. A few of us came up. They did different questions and things like that. It was really fun. Maybe that's
Something
the
in
jam.
the works.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like where this is going.
Keep listening, peeps.
That's right. And at this rate, it's going to be in about a year from now.
I mean, it's a good rate weekly, and I feel like but that's good for us.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we'd love it if you share. If you like what we're doing, you like what you're seeing on the YouTubes, share it out, peeps.
Let people know.
Sharing is caring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can find us on all socials at Cutmaster Music. So let's get into it. Talking about our events. I didn't have anything last week.
Did you stream?
I did. I did not. No, I did stream.
You did?
I did on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the streaming's been cool.
You switched up like the whole back room too.
Yeah.
Are
Sorry,
you liking that?
Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's nice because it looks good with your workflow and.
So I'm getting back into this. I feel like pandemic all over again, where we're getting back into the streaming game, and I'm trying to figure it out and what's the best setup. And I had 2 cameras going that was trying to get me at one angle, and then the decks at another, and I was splicing them together, and it looked like my arms were like 15 feet long. I look like Wembanyama,
Yeah.
Wemby out there.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't right. And it was 2 different shades, 2 different cameras. And so finally I was like, okay, I need to rearrange this space so I can get the camera out a little bit further in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I got the decks raised up higher.
Mm-hmm.
It works better for the workflow. So I finally just spent a day and I rearranged the whole
Nice.
back room that we call the lab. It's where we allow our DJs to go back in our space and they can practice, they can stream, do all this stuff. Mostly it's for storage.
Right.
It's kind of like,
Lighting.
Cutmaster Music. We're in need of a new space, peeps. I'm putting this out there in the world too. We need more space.
Yeah.
We just we're
One way or another,
we're
more
growing.
space would be dope.
I know we're growing. We need more room.
Mm-hmm.
But so the streaming's been cool.
Nice.
And I'm getting back
Good.
into it and like just trying to figure out what I want to do with the actual stream. And
It's fun because it's so freeing. You can really do whatever you want. There's not a lot of high expectations. You can do it how you want to do it. But then the people who do come in, they're all about it. That's what I
Yeah.
love too, is you build that little community in that Twitch side. And so they're excited about whatever you have to bring to the table.
And it's been
fun.
cool because the community that I formed with, it used to be called Corona and Chill. And I decided I'm done with anything having to do with Corona, except for now I've got long COVID, but whatever. And I was like, well, I can't call it long COVID and chill, right? So I changed the name to The Groove, and I'm making it's just purely throwbacks, basically
Nice.
from the 2000s on back. That's all the vibes. That's it. It's old school throwbacks. That's my pocket. That's the peeps that kind of are part of that show. And a lot of them from the Corona and Chill days have come back, and they're watching and sharing and doing it. So it's been cool. I've been doing it once a week, typically on Fridays. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow. On this week on Friday, we're getting ready to go out of town.
Nice.
I'm gonna go hit up Vegas for the weekend.
Nice. What for?
We are actually going out there. Those of you that know me and have been listening to the podcast long enough know I'm an avid 311 fan.
Mm-hmm.
And every other year they do what's called 311 Day, and it's been in Vegas for like the last 5 or 6 311 days. And they do a 2-night. This year it's a 2-night show. It's gonna be on Saturday and Sunday night. And it's like 3 hours long, only 311, no openers.
Crazy.
And these shows are for the deep 311 fans, and they fill up the whole Park MGM. I mean, it's like what, like I don't know, 5, 6, 7,000 people in there.
Nice. Dang.
It's a lot of people,
Yeah.
and this is like the show, and because they're gonna play all the deep cuts, like it's not just the greatest hits with
They're not
like
just playing
Amber and
right.
Down, right?
Yeah.
It's all the stuff from. I mean, and they've got. I don't know how many albums out now. I mean, they just keep making stuff. And actually, they have a new album coming out this year.
Dang.
So I'm
Okay.
interested because my guess is they're going to probably play a few tracks off of that
Try
new
to
one.
promote
too.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all the deep cuts and then just the community is super fun. Nothing but positivity. Everybody's rocking their 311 gear.
Yeah.
It's just a fun group. So Monica and I are going. We're doing that this weekend.
Very
And
nice.
I'm just trying to keep my energy levels up. As you guys know, I don't mean to harp on this again, and keep it a thing, but it's been a little bit rough, like
Yeah.
health-wise for
Trying
me.
to manage it and deal
So,
with it.
These last 2 weeks, it's been I've been on another kind of like flare up of this thing, and so now I'm coming down off it. I'm feeling like okay, I think I can get through the weekend, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god. But this is how you know you're getting old. I've never done a 311 day, and I've done like I think the last 4 or 5,
Okay.
and always had floor tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Not this year. We're in seats. Like,
Gonna sit back.
Yeah.
And
where's my old man? Like, sound effects. Get off my lawn. You know? Yeah, something like that.
Bruh.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what I'm doing this weekend. That's
Nice.
where no events for me.
Nice. I was
you're
at
doing Marble, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing Marble tomorrow. We're filming this on Thursday, so that's really fun. And then Saturday is my first wedding of the year.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I am so pumped for that. You know, that they want to party, they want to have a good time. It's interesting because it's going to be a 4-hour open dance. But
Ooh.
I have a strong feeling they're going to party.
Yeah.
They want to party hard. They celebrate. They like to dance. And I've noticed with certain cultures, they tend to party longer. And this one is an Indian wedding. And this one, I've always been, I'm like,
It's going all night.
I've done an Indian wedding on a Sunday, on no holiday weekend, nothing like that, and they went strong hard. They just like to dance and have fun. And what I like about that, like Bollywood style or that music in general, a lot of it really sits in that 128 pocket BPM wise.
It works so good with our dance
You
music.
can layer that with so many different things, and so it's cool to experiment and have fun with it. And
I'm not gonna lie. There's I can't think of an Indian wedding that I've done where I haven't had an awesome, amazing time. Like they have all been super fun.
bashes. They just like to celebrate and
Yeah.
dance and have fun, and it's not like
Are both sides Indian?
no. It's one side is white, and then the other is
Okay.
Indian.
And that's kind of like the one that I did last summer.
Yeah.
Was one side was Chinese and the other side was Indian.
Mhm.
And they were a little bit worried that the Chinese side, way more reserved culture, right? And that they weren't going to dance at all. And no, they did. I think just that Indian, like you said, the
That
Bollywood
energy.
vibes, the energy, all the colors, all the
Yeah.
changes in the dresses and stuff like that. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I feel like they're so charismatic and inviting and celebrating,
Right.
Because they're like amplifying other people. Like, hey, a lot
Yeah.
of cool dancing circles, not dancing circles where you're like, oh god, I hate dancing circles because nobody wants to get in.
Right.
Everybody's in it, and everybody's like having fun, and so that's what I like about those style of weddings. My one last summer was Indian and Spanish, Mexican, and so they were really concerned that the cultures were gonna party, but they wouldn't.
They would clash. a
Yeah,
little bit.
right. It would be Spanish music and then Indian music, and no, it was. They both were able to intermingle with each other and have fun, and that's where it's cool too, because then you see these cultures collide and
Yeah,
all these different walks of life
I
coming
think that's
together, which
the
is
great.
dope.
You hit it on the head when you can bring them all together.
Yeah.
I mean, you got two families that are coming together as one, right? And you know
Mhm.
that's cultures that are different that are coming together too. And when they're able to, just party all together, that's the high for me.
Yeah,
That's honestly that's the why. That's the
Mhm.
why I do it, and being able to provide that soundtrack and go in and out. I've really enjoyed over the years getting to learn the Punjabi, Bollywood, the Indian vibes,
Yeah.
like more, because we get asked to do these weddings. It's not very often. We live in New Mexico. I mean, so it's not very often we get to do these weddings, but when we get to do them, so much fun.
yeah,
So cool.
such a good time.
Well, I'm looking forward to that recap.
Mhm. Yeah, that'll be a good one
when
for
we come
next
back.
week.
All right, cool. Well, we are going to move into our next segment. I've got to cue up the segment music here.
Oh yeah,
All
what do we
right.
got?
You know what we got? Here we go.
Hey,
That's right, people.
you know what it is.
You know what it is.
If you're at least in New Mexico, you know what it is.
Okay, so this is gonna kind of go under the tipsy segment. We're gonna call this Enchanted Weddings. And this new segment here, we are looking to give some wedding tips for those vendors or maybe even some couples that are coming from out of state.
Yeah.
And it hit me the other day. I was thinking, what if you're a planner or a photographer coming from out of state to do a wedding? And I've worked with vendors that are
Totally.
from out of state.
Yeah.
Like, well, let's help you out. All right. So we're going to give you some tips if you're coming from out of New Mexico, like from outside of New Mexico, of some things like to maybe expect, to be ready for.
Or if
And-
you're like a bride or groom and having a wedding, these are some things you could tell your guests to prepare for.
Absolutely.
Because they have never been to New Mexico. Oftentimes we get clients who want to showcase their state that they're from, right? And so they have people from all over the country, and so it's cool for us to give them these tips.
Right. So the very first one I'm going to start off with, a lot of people, and we're going to talk about the weather, obviously, with this and where we're at geographically and climate-wise. But,
Yep.
most people tend to just think of, I think, New Mexico, you're in the middle of the desert, right? Well, in Albuquerque, you have to deal with the altitude. And if you're in Santa Fe, you have to deal with the altitude. All right. And basically, most of New Mexico, you are dealing with the altitude. All right. We are actually, I believe Albuquerque is actually higher than Denver.
What?
Yeah, I think so, altitude wise.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they call Denver the Mile High City,
Yeah.
but we're actually legit a mile
High.
Yeah. I think we're at 7,000 feet, and then up
Okay.
at the top of the mountain, I think it's 10,000 feet. That's why it's called, the name of the restaurant is called 10 something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I know the restaurant on top of the Sandia Peak.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's called 10. It's for the altitude. So, Tony's
10-3.
10-3. There you go.
Elevated dining experience.
It is. It's literally. You are 10,000 feet above sea level dining. All right.
Wow.
So the altitude, we want to talk about, this is huge, you guys. If you're coming from out of state, you need to prepare for this. Your guests need to prepare from it, especially if you're coming from the coast where you're at sea level. It's real. All right. You're going to get tired. It's a biological thing. You literally do not have as many blood cells circulating through your body as people that live here.
Yeah.
All right. So when you go start thinking of things like drinking and, we're going to party all night long, it is going to hit you a lot faster.
Your drinks are going to hit you at like 1.5 so like if you have one drink, cool. That's going to equal to 1.5. So if you have two drinks, it's going to equal three instead of just two.
Right.
And so that's where it can get tricky, and those drinks can creep up on you fast.
Yeah. And then even if you're not a drinker, right, walking around.
Yeah, exactly.
It's real. And if you are walking to long distances to get to, maybe you're in a remote part of New Mexico and you have to walk pretty far to your ceremony site.
Four Seasons.
I think of Bishop's Lodge, walking up the hill.
Yeah.
Walking up and down the hill. That kind of stuff, especially for your older guests, can take a toll.
Yeah.
So just be prepared. The altitude is real. Prepare for that.
Nice.
All right. What you got?
I've got the sun.
The sun.
The sun is very it hits hard in New Mexico. And what I mean by that is I feel like we live in a desert, but it also is something where it's a little more intense. The rays hit a little bit harder.
We have a different sun here.
Yeah, we have very much a different
it's the
sun.
Zia sun.
Yeah, we do. And so with that, you want to make sure you're putting on sunscreen. You're staying out of the sun for extended periods of time to avoid things like heat exhaustion, staying hydrated and making sure that those don't creep up on you as well, and you're not getting overwhelmed by the heat. You're keeping all your liquids up, and you're just making sure that, you're putting on your sunscreen and just being mindful of how powerful that sun is compared to like a state like California or Seattle or Washington.
It really is, and we'll tie that. I had number 4, stay hydrated.
Yeah,
that was on here too. You definitely drink a lot of water, and that'll help you with the altitude, all of this, right?
Yeah.
So basically, like the climate and where New Mexico is and how just things are here, a lot of it will center around that. Which brings us to my third one, which is to understand the climate and the weather here. We get all 4 seasons. Some people don't understand that. They'll come here in the winter to Albuquerque and be like, it snows here?
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's Phoenix,
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like we can get knee high.
It gets cold
overnight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if we get a snowstorm here, you're going to be, the city closes down. Like people aren't going to be out and driving and that sort of thing. But what's kind of crazy is that it can literally melt within 24 hours and be gone. So this is one of those unique places where if you want to go, skiing, you can go to Santa Fe, and the next day you can be golfing in Albuquerque.
Yep.
It just it's really cool in that we get all 4 seasons. So that being said, you need to prepare for that. In the spring, that might as well just equal wind here in Albuquerque.
Yeah, February, March, it can get really windy.
So I went and looked it up, and the National Weather Service says that the average wind during the day in Albuquerque between the months of it's like basically February and May, all right, the springtime here, averages 7 to 10 miles per hour. But those that live here know that when we have storms, that those winds will get easily 20 to 40 mile per hour gusts.
Yeah, it just happened within like a week or so where it was like insane.
They're saying that today we got another storm coming in, late winter storm, and this is March 7th.
Yeah,
we have a storm coming in this weekend. They're expecting in the northern parts of the state for there to be some snow.
Totally.
and we know the winds are going to pick up. So
It's because New Mexico is like a mountainous desert, right?
totally. I
And
mean,
that's-
we're
I
the
mean,
tail
obviously-
end of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah,
here.
and compared to like a state like Arizona, it's all pretty much flat land, and so like those deserts they're just very different. They're
Yeah.
both desert, but they're different.
Right. So in the spring, you're going to get a lot of wind. I don't say we typically get a lot of rain. I feel like the rain tends to hit April, May-ish here.
I feel like our rain really hits July,
the
August.
monsoon season.
Yeah,
Totally.
You get a sprinkle, you'll get a couple things, but not really until
Right.
late summer.
The monsoon season, and it always,
So unforgiving.
if you're going to have an outdoor wedding, here's the thing. You're just taking a chance here in Albuquerque, plain and simple, especially during monsoon season. And the thing is, it doesn't rain for like days on straight or weeks. It's going to rain really hard for 15, 20 minutes, and it'll be gone. But
Right at 3 p.m. during your
right during your ceremony, it's going to be, whatever you have planned to happen,
Yeah.
it's not going to rain. It's going to look like perfectly blue sky, sunny out overhead. And then, boom, 5 minutes before start time, it's going to come in.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to ruin everything. It's just enough. It's enough to just ruin
It's
it.
happened to me. It happened to me last year, right in that time frame, at least 2 times. I can remember one where it rained and we had to move everything inside. Turned out to be a beautiful moment where it was like, I think we talked about it on the pod, where everybody circled around them. It was a big kumbaya.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So it worked out, but again, that was the risk they took.
Yeah.
And me and Lauren are watching this Doppler radar. What do you think? Let's just shift the chairs. So if we do need to move, right, we like do things in place and all of that. But we're like, I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh yeah, we're watching the storm move. Yeah, we're okay. And then sure enough, right when it starts, the rain hits, and you're like, mother.
There's a nugget for you right there. For those of you planners, you people that are coming in from out of town, have the weather app on your phone.
Yeah.
Because you can literally watch it and you can see what's coming in.
You can kind of anticipate,
you can anticipate
how much time you have,
Right.
and different things. And sometimes, say your ceremony's outside and those clouds roll in, give that perfect amount of shade. Your ceremony's done and it works out beautifully, right? And so it's such a gamble on like, oh, it can work out amazing or it can rain. And with DJ equipment, that's the saddest part. 'Cause we have to call it almost immediately.
If it's like, I always tell our couples, if there's any moisture, like it's once again science.
Yeah.
Electronics and water don't work.
They don't work together.
Doesn't work
Simple
together.
as that. And so yeah, that's the hardest part, is to be that guy to yank the cord during the ceremony. I've only had to do it a handful of times, but I'm not risking the safety of me or my equipment. It's just as simple as that. Sorry.
Yep. No, and then you've got the summer, which we just kind of talked about there, and it can be pretty hot here during the summer. So we don't get Phoenix hot, but it's still hot.
I'll notice in that times
90s.
our weddings are more indoors than outdoors.
Right, for sure. Okay, then we get to the fall. I feel like the fall weddings, that's when we have the most. That's perfect.
The money time, dude.
You get to late August, September, October. Those are, it's beautiful this time of year. The leaves change color down in the valley and the bosque. And, we've got venues that are all scattered across that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Pictures look great. That's probably the most popular time of year.
Easily the most popular time. I know, for me, I have 5 weddings in September.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Out of the 22 that I have right now, 5 of them are in 1 month or in that month. Right. Or I think I have 4 more. So probably half of them are in that 2-month window.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the time to get married.
So if you're looking to get married in the fall here in New Mexico, plan ahead.
Book early.
Book early. And then let's talk about the winter. All right. It gets cold.
Yeah.
It gets cold here, but it also gets warm. And we've kind of just talked about that a little while ago, right? So we can get snow. But I mean, like today, I mean, we're on March 7th. The temperature has been in the 60s the last week or so.
Yeah.
Right. They're expecting snow to come in this week. It's going to drop back down. Right. So your lows are going to be in the 30s, literally freezing, but you can have highs into the 60s during the winter months. I've done outdoor ceremonies in January. I mean,
freezing.
Shaking.
But
we've done some that have been nice and warm.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
now, not reception, but so here's the thing.
As long as that sun's out.
Once the sun goes down, right, it gets cold.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to get your ceremonies done during that 3 to 4 o'clock.
And it's tough because we're in that time change window where the sun is setting sooner in that time of the year. So you just be mindful of those things. But when you're in a place that has high walls, like maybe you're at Hotel Albuquerque, that shade hits sooner
Exactly.
than 5 o'clock. So just being mindful of those things. But yeah, it can be warm. You know, I've had weddings in November that were really beautiful.
It can happen. I would just say this: if you were looking during the winter to have an outdoor like ceremony, you're not going to have your reception outdoors during the winter. But if you're going to do your ceremony, you should probably have a plan B. Because once again, you just don't you don't know, right?
Blankets, heaters.
Yeah, or it could
like
snow.
Yeah, it could snow.
So here's the other thing: we've had snow into May here.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Albuquerque, like early May. We're talking about like
That's
May.
why
1st,
New
May
Mexico
2nd.
weather's wild.
Right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's we have ADD weather, but you get all 4 seasons here. So if you plan it right and you kind of you know what to expect, weddings are awesome.
And I feel like we don't get the extremes of any weather. I lived in Phoenix for a year. It gets stupid hot.
Right.
It's insane, right? You can't even go outside.
Yeah.
And then I've never lived in like Chicago, but I bet you Chicago gets insanely cold where that just hits you and you're like, aches in your bones, right?
Right.
And it definitely gets cold. It definitely gets hot, but it's still manageable here. That's
Totally.
the cool thing about New Mexico.
Yep. Okay, so keep it moving. The next tip that we would give you is to definitely leverage the local vendors here. All right.
Yeah.
For items like flowers, food, things that just like you don't need to outsource from other places. We have great local vendors that can help you with, if you want some of the cactus and things like that.
Sure.
That's all local to here. If you want a tumbleweed wedding, we got we've got you. We got you for tumbleweeds. Okay.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I would definitely highly suggest that you look around and use the local vendors and partner with local vendors for your needs.
I think it's a smart way to do it. And then you'll save money too.
Yeah.
Because you're not having to outsource, figure out how to get the travel there, all that stuff. Of course, if you're dedicated to a vendor and you want to get them there, do it. But
Right.
go local first and you'd be surprised what you can find.
Right. So next tip I would say is, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but things here in New Mexico aren't close. So I think a lot of people, like especially back east, where you literally have like big cities that are right next to each other. And like, Philadelphia is only like an hour away from Washington, D.C. or whatever, like less than that. New Jersey's right across the street from New York.
Yeah.
That is not New Mexico.
No.
Okay. So, the nearest lake from us, like legit lake, Elephant Butte, so an hour and a half?
Thinking Elephant Butte or Navajo.
Navajo Lake, those are our biggest lakes. Navajo Lake is 3 hours away.
Still 3 hours. We're not close to any real body of water.
Santa Fe from Albuquerque is about an hour.
Yeah.
Tingley Beach. You can go have your wedding at Tingley Beach. You might.
You could.
Just take some.
It could be beautiful.
Take an EpiPen with you, just
for real.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is spread out in terms of like just if you say you have a guest or you are a guest and they're getting married in Santa Fe and you're like, oh, we'll stay in Albuquerque, it'll be fine.
Right.
When you got to drive home at 10 p.m. after and it's a 45-minute drive, you're like.
Well, it took us. We went to Santa Fe High School on Saturday for Jude's baseball game, and it was from where I live in Albuquerque. It was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, see.
So,
what if you're getting married in Bishop's Lodge and you got a hotel in Albuquerque?
So, in a lot of these places, like we're saying, they're remote. So, even Bishop's Lodge, you're driving past Santa Fe up into the mountains. Blame Her Ranch. That's way out there.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot, and there's great venues. They're awesome. Definitely do it, but be ready for it. If you're flying people in, they're going to fly into Albuquerque, and then you're going to drive an hour and a half.
Yeah, there will be traveling and other expenses for them to actually get to the venue.
Right.
Or just to be mindful of, it's not as close as you would think.
Right. Okay. What you got?
I love the idea of embracing local cuisine, really bringing in local food to showcase the state, because it really is a great way to showcase the local culinary, just kind of culture that's happening here in New Mexico. There's not a lot of people who are doing enchiladas or sopapillas certain ways here, right?
The chili, plain and simple.
Oh, yeah, the chili all day.
Come in here, have the chili. Now,
you have to.
I wouldn't go hot right away, you East Coasters.
Depending on, right? If you're an East Coaster, I've heard some crazy stories. People
this ain't no paste picante.
They think ketchup's hot. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the? But for real, there's definitely levels to the heat, and it's good to ask them. How hot is your chili? I'm not really normal to it, but you have to try it because the flavor is just unmatched and really embracing all of these different cultures on what kind of food they have. And a lot of cool hotels have cool cultural options, right?
Totally.
Or you can outsource the catering depending on your venue if they allow outside food. But like going with like a Garcia's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? Garcia's hits.
Little tip.
Yeah, but
Have some bizcochitos at your wedding.
yes.
Do it.
That's a very big New Mexico thing, and it's a great little keepsake.
Yeah, well, and it's just like great little, dessert item, right?
Such a New Mexico thing, and they hit
Totally.
bizcochitos and coffee.
And chips and salsa.
Oh yeah, chips and salsa all day.
Okay, I'm getting hungry now. All right, I think let's go with one more.
Okay, one more. What do we
The
got?
last thing I think we're going to do here, and this really, for photography and video, highlight the scenery. New Mexico has some of the most stunning landscapes. You get everything from the desert, right? Desert vistas. You've got mountain views. Work together to maximize the natural beauty of the location and your planning and execution. New Mexico's beautiful, you guys.
Yeah, I saw a crazy video. It was from just a local friend who was talking about the science behind like our sunsets. We have a dust in our air that's naturally kicked up from more dirt that we have in the state, and that dust turns into a haze that when we see these beautiful sunsets day in, day out, it's from that little bit of dust and haze from people kicking up dirt every day naturally.
It's not all the Prowler RVs with blue smoke coming out of the top of them.
That might be it. But it's nice because, I was in Phoenix last week and we saw the sunset and we're like, look at that. It's beautiful. You see that thin layer right there? Smog. And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But here, you don't get that. You don't get this. It's just really clear, beautiful sunsets, the reflection of the light off the mountains.
So the sunsets with the mountains, they call them the sandias for a reason. All right. Sandia in Spanish means watermelon. And it doesn't happen every single day, but
it's pretty often.
But fairly often when that sun is just setting, you have this 5-minute window where it hits the mountain just perfect and it looks like a watermelon. Like it's like that pink orange hue. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Right. And you're at just like when we were talking about last episode, the Sandia Event Center.
Right.
Boom. You got the mountain right there. Use that. There's so many different spaces, or even a cool spot like Los Poblanos, right? They have so much intricate things. It gives you more tree earthiness and all of that, but it's inside a city. You would never even think of that. So using a lot of the natural stuff. I'm sure they do it, but it's totally mindful.
No, and I think any of our local photographers, they talk about that all the time, right? Yeah. Like it's just highlighting how beautiful the state is. So just know when you're coming to Albuquerque, when you're coming to New Mexico, when you're coming to Santa Fe, it's not just dirt.
There's a lot of art and culture and color, and people don't realize that, especially me growing up. I didn't realize that. I always thought it was just like New Mexico.
You know how it is. You live here. You take everything for granted. The balloons. We're like, I see balloons every day. But people that don't, that's not normal. That's not normal to 99.9% of the world.
Yeah.
And you come to the balloon fiesta, and it is honestly crazy cool. But we've grown up with it, and so it's just one of those things I think that locals take for granted. Balloons, we see them all the time. Mm-hmm. It really is pretty.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So speaking of highlighting scenery, come to the balloon fiesta. You want some crazy pictures and
that would be
people watching and
get married at the balloon fiesta.
Get married. Well, you're at Sid Cutter Pavilion this weekend.
We are at Sid. It's so cool because they are kind of buying into that. For the exit, we're going to be doing a balloon glow exit, right? So they're gonna look like they're getting in and flying away, but they're not,
All right.
But it's really cool because a lot of people, I think I said it last time, haven't seen a balloon, and so they're excited to see a hot air balloon.
That's what I'm saying. Most people that's not the norm. Mm-hmm. You don't see it.
Showcase.
They've never seen one, much less 500 of them in the air at one time.
Yeah. So it's a great way, and our couple is taking advantage of it this weekend for sure.
Cool. All right, it's time to move on.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Oh.
Nope.
Not that one.
It's not that one.
Not yet.
Wrong one.
Little tease.
Sorry. Hold on. It's coming. There we go.
Hey, you know it.
Gonna do it.
It's time
to not mess up
for
the grab bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are going back to the grab bag this week. Tony has got a few ticker talkers. I've pulled one off of YouTube that we're going to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with one of yours.
Nice. So this one is really good. It's really for our vendors out there, and I think it's just a nice little reminder on what you're trying to shoot for with couples.
McDonald's doesn't sell food, they sell convenience. Nike doesn't sell clothes, they sell comfort and style. Airlines don't sell the flight, they sell the vacation and the destination. Whether you're in the service industry or the goods industry, you're not selling the product, you're selling the emotion that the customer desires, whether they know it or not. Start to look around and see what type of experiences that you actually have when you're trying out people's products and services.
If you start for content.
Beautiful.
So yeah,
Sell the why, not the what.
I thought that was the way they compared it to McDonald's, Nike, all the airlines. And so it's people buy with emotion all day. So when they can have that connection, when you're talking to them, they don't worry about the dollar amount. They worry about how they're going to feel. And when you can talk about, we're going to give you peace of mind on your wedding day. We're going to make sure you guys have the best time and you're creating immaculate memories with your team, or with your people. That's where they can actually put those memories and think, oh yeah, like I want to feel that on my wedding day. We show them videos, we show them clips, and when they can connect to it, it's a lot easier for them they feel more confident in themselves making that decision.
Every client has fears.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're not DJs. We are problem solvers. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are helping you get over and alleviate the stress that's coming from your fear. And really that's how our marketing is centered around. We do this story branding with our marketing and branding. And really that's what it does. It's playing off of the fears of our clients. I'm going to pull up our website real quick and you guys can go ahead and go steal this if it's something that you like. All right. On our website, when you scroll down immediately right below the fold, it says concerned about your wedding DJ. Don't worry. We've got you covered. Are you afraid of hiring a cheeseball wedding DJ? Your DJ showing up late or bailing on you? Are you afraid of booking a cheap DJ? Are you afraid of your guests leaving early? Are you afraid of your DJ playing bad music or that nobody will dance? These are all legit fears, right? Mm-hmm. That we've been told.
Yeah.
When we have a client consultation, like, what is your greatest fear, mm-hmm. right? That nobody's going to dance. Yeah, right. And so that's what we're helping you do, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not bringing lights and sound. I'm using that as a tool to make sure that people dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what we do. Right. Yeah. So, how do you do that? And it's through all the things that we've discussed in the past about skill set, music curation, experience, talking through it, going through all the details, having planning meetings. Yep. So that way, and I know really too, like we all know what the expectations are. We're prepared.
Yeah.
Right. So, that was a great clip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just thought it was a nice, friendly reminder for sure.
Okay, I'm going to play one here. So this is coming off of another podcast,
nice.
And you guys can go watch this. It's actually not a wedding industry podcast. This just popped across my YouTube feed. But the name of the podcast is called Capital Hacking, and the title of the podcast episode is Wedding Business Deep Dive with Shane McMurray of Wedding Report. And Shane created the Wedding Report, which is the big giant wedding report that gives all the statistics about how many weddings are happening a year. Oh, yeah. and even drills down into markets, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go to, I think it's called weddingreport.com, you can go find all kinds of market statistics and stuff. So the whole episode was really cool. It's about an hour long. I'm going to play this little snippet that talks about a wedding trend that he's seen. And basically, he was asked the question of what's changed the most in the last 20 years. And I thought this was really interesting. So nice. We're going to give it a listen here.
Okay.
And of course,
stepping back a bit, in 20 years, what has changed in your research? What is included in a wedding? Perhaps that's changed. The number of days, has that changed?
I think the biggest thing that has changed over the past 20 years is probably who's paying for the wedding. I don't think, the number of guests and things like that have kind of trickled down a little bit. What people care about has changed. Obviously, the trends and patterns of things that people care about, different generations care about different things. But if you were to really look at what has changed significantly is who's paying for the wedding. I think because the couple, they're older, they're more, they're more into their career. and they want to make more decision about it. Like, I don't know, when I first got started, I could see a lot of parents were involved in decision-making process, right? And they were, because they were footing a lot of the bill, they were making the decisions. And I even saw it actually, I mean, it still happens. My niece just got married, and her parents paid for the wedding, most of it, and they made most of the decisions about what they were going to do, right? But if you take that back and go look at the couple, and the couple says, all right, look, we're paying for most of the wedding, right? So we don't want your help. Thank you if you want to help, great, but I only need your help here. So couple makes the decisions because they're putting the money into it. And that's what's happening today. I'd say 70%, 72% of couples pay for 100% of their weddings today. And the rest is kind of like, the big things, the parents contribute, friends might contribute, that sort of thing. And it's not with everyone, right? Not everyone spends $1 million or even $30,000 on their wedding, but the couple is paying for a majority of the wedding. That's probably the biggest thing I've seen happen over the year. And then probably the second.
So interesting. And I thought that was really interesting because lately I've actually seen a few industry friends that have been talking about pushback on pricing.
Yeah.
And that they're seeing, that the couples are just being more price conscious, right? And booking, whether it's going more budget level or whatnot. So it really kind of makes sense and is interesting, right? That
they're paying for it, so they want to be more aware of where their dollar is going as opposed to just having it funded by some source of funds, right? Like whatever that may be. But because of that, they are going to want to have more say and all of that. But I think because they're paying for it, they're being more conscious of the overall price.
Right. Well, and it's not like, I mean, when it's your money, you are a little bit more aware, right?
Yeah, and you want
spending
more value for your dollar,
right,
versus your mom's dollar or anybody else's dollar.
Exactly.
Because that's your hard-earned cash, whatever that may look like. And so, but I'm also noticing too that our couples are a little older and a little more established. Our average bride, for us at least, is in their early 30s or so.
I think you're right. And I wonder, I was just thinking about this now. I wonder if that correlates with, kind of like the price tier that we are at for our market, right?
Totally.
I wonder, what do you, I'm interested. You guys seeing this out there? Like, for those of you that are, mid to upper tier level of services, are your couples like, I would say the average wedding couple is probably in their mid-20s. Are you seeing that they're more into their 30s?
Yeah.
I'd
be interested to find out.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a common thing. We'll still have brides who are under 30.
Right.
But
it does seem like
probably paying for it.
Mom is at the meetings.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true. So it's interesting to see that. But I think we do a good job at explaining our value. And so I think if you just be aware of that couples are starting to think more about that. But if you can have your systems in place with the proper references, videos, things like that, they can still feel confident in spending that dollar and moving their budget elsewhere. Right. That's what we talk about all the time. And so, yes, they are more aware of that price, but just keep doing your due diligence and show how you would bring value.
Right. Okay, I like it. I think you have another one, right?
I do, yes. And it's nice because I feel like these are all kind of on a pricing theme. So I have another one. This one's about the same length as the last one, but this one's interesting.
Hey, wedding vendors, start putting your prices on your website.
Look, I get it. Every vendor runs their business in their own way, and some post some kind of information on pricing and some do not. But for me personally, I do not like it when I don't see at least a starting or an average price on a website for a vendor. Or even like in the contact form, sometimes you can find like a drop down of like, what's your budget? And like it tells you a starting price. Some kind of inclination of, hey, this is what, you can look to expect. Now, I am a wedding photographer, and I do know photographers that do both. They put no information on there and they do custom proposals, which for that and how they run their business, it works really well for them. And then there are also other people that put their full pricing on their website, and there are people like myself that put a starting and average price. Personally, from my market and my experience, I have found that putting a starting and an average price on my website has been really helpful to kind of weed out people who wouldn't be within budget, which is okay. And I think it's perfectly fine because the number one thing that we cannot get back in life is time. And I don't want to waste your time if you're inquiring with me and you have no idea what my pricing is going to be. And when you get it, it's out of budget. But I also don't want to waste my time as a vendor answering inquiries that might not go anywhere. And from my experience, when I didn't have any kind of information on there, I was constantly on my phone. I was constantly answering emails, and those inquiries did not lead to a booking. If you come to my website, click the weddings tab, you are going to find this little part on my website. Collections begin at $6,000 with the average couple investing $6,900 for full wedding day coverage. That's going to be on my weddings page, and it's also going to be on every single blog post and every single gallery that you see on my website, because I want you to come in fully knowing what you can expect from me pricing wise. But if for some reason you miss all of those, you will find this in my contact form. What are you looking to invest in your photography for your wedding day? And there are 3 options. So you can tell there's nothing lower than $6,500. So personally, for me, I do think that having your pricing, or at least some kind of inclination of what your pricing is helpful and a great strategy. But every vendor in every market operates differently. So for me in Houston, that is kind of where I'm at. To each their own, but do what works for your business.
I really like that, and actually, I'm gonna work on ours because she's not the first person I've heard this from, and we were actually just talking about this week. You know, about should we put our pricing and just put it out there on the website, because currently we don't. We do. It's basically a hidden link on our website where we receive an inquiry and then we respond back to them, try to set up an appointment. And then we give them the secret page with the pricing and the packages, right? So they actually do get a chance to see it before we meet. We don't hide anything. But I've also wondered, should we just put it out there? You know, should we just put pricing out there? I do like them at least, and I think Alan Berg actually, who those of you that are in the industry, if you don't know who Alan Berg is, he's kind of like a marketing guru, right? And he says the same thing that she just said, that you should probably do an average, and he actually talks about doing a range, that basically you should say that, you know, our average package ranges from this to this price, right? He doesn't even like doing the starting at. He likes doing average. The average and having a range.
Because starting at can be deceiving, or like, you know what I mean? You see that number.
We've gotten that before.
Yeah, and it's just a kind of a miscommunication, and we've actually adjusted it, right?
Yeah, we don't put starting at pricing
because
on the website.
That's where it can get confusing, because it starts at, and then we just have to get into details of what that looks like.
They'll start talking with you, right?
They think we're trying to swindle them or something.
They're like, well, where's the $17.99 price, right? And it's like, well, you only get that if it's like a winter month and in your weddings in
not me.
Alaska and right? It's not me. I've got whatever
other DJs on staff.
Yeah,
like that. We had to explain all of those different things, and so for us, it was a little bit easier. I like average. That could be something for us to
I think we're gonna implement that. So
cool.
Nice. All right. That was good. That was a really good grab bag segment.
Yeah, those were all really themed around pricing and staying true to kind of who you are with your pricing and all that. So that's good.
Yeah, and hit us up in the comments, you know, and tell us what you're doing, what you think, and where you're at.
I'd love to know what's working out there for other people. I'm always interested, and what's not working too, because then I don't want to do it.
Well, we just told you it didn't work for us. Yeah. That's why we don't.
Exactly.
We're not doing it anymore.
Well, you know, I think she hit it too. We don't want to waste time, right? We want to be as effective and efficient as possible. And with people who are always changing and evolving, it's important for us to always be looking at the website and revamping, evolving, trying to make it as fresh as possible.
Totally. It's time. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
You got it this time.
I got it. Cool. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
That segment worked out.
That's how you do it.
That segment was way better. Don't go listen to those guys last week.
Skip that
Those
part.
guys don't know how to do it. These guys do.
Yeah, I like that, though. I like that a lot, and I feel like we can run with that, because that was 10 songs right there, 11 songs, and there's so much more.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Had a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments. You want some more stemology?
Stemology.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like it.
We were trying to think of a segment name for it, and thank you, ChatGPT.
Right.
Appreciate you.
I thought of where's my stimulus?
Your stimulus check?
Yeah.
Give me my stimulus check. We were trying to think of names, right? With stems, like what was the other one? What did I say?
Breaking stems, breakdown of stems. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting stemmy.
Getting stemmy.
Smell my stench.
Yes. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
I mean, it could work.
Gosh, I'm gonna go for today. It's gonna be stemology.
I like stemology. Yeah,
we'll
stick with that.
Your stench today. I don't know.
Stench. How would you even do that?
Yeah.
Describing the stench.
Describe the stench that you are listening to right now.
It's too funny.
I love it. Okay, that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you guys later.
Peace out. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for checking out the Cutmaster Cast podcast. Make sure you stay tuned with all things related at www.cutmastermusic.com.